I just want to thank you all for starting our business expo off with a great way. It's a sold out crowd this morning, so we just want to say thank you to everyone who signed up really for this program. Three other things going on today. This is the first of 4 events in one day. The other thing obviously is the business expo. It's free to attend the expo. You don't have to drive to the next town. You don't have to drive down the street. It's literally right down there. So when you leave here, go right down there. The expo will be open. It's sold out of exhibitors. Go meet your fellow members. Go see what they have for products and services on display, and just go support them as well, and make new business connections for yourself as well. So again, that is right downstairs, free to attend, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. today. The other thing I want to mention is that we have a great luncheon program. It's just about sold out, but there is a little bit more space if you're interested in signing up. That starts at 12 noon. It's with the State Secretary of Economic Development. She'll be here to talk about what she is seeing, what impacts your businesses. And we also have a great panel as well. We have a speaker from Procter & Gamble, which we all know what Procter & Gamble is. She will be here speaking. And we also have a speaker from Tech Inc. So it's our Economic Development Conference. And again, it's a great opportunity to hear what affects your business and ask your questions as well. And again, there's limited space available, 12 noon, right here in this room. And then after the expo, as I mentioned, it's free to attend the expo, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's also free to attend the expo after hours mixer. That happens right after the expo, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's free to register for that. You must register though, so you can do so with me, with Mary Beth at the front booth over there, the Merrimack Valley Chamber booth. And there's going to be extensive appetizers, extensive hors d'oeuvres, and great networking opportunities. So that's, again, 4 events in one day. As you know, the Chamber has at least 1 event every week. Next week we have another networking mixer, a special 3 p.m. mixer next Thursday, April 11th. It's taking place at X Golf Methuen. It's going to be a Masters themed mixer. The Masters will be on. It'll be a watch party, but you'll also be able to use the golf simulators for free. The Merrimack Valley Chamber is making the opportunity available to you and your business associates free of charge. There'll be free hors d'oeuvres as well, signature cocktails, and again, great networking opportunities. That's all next Thursday, April 11th. And then the last thing I want to mention right now is that, actually, if you're into golf, we also have our big golf tournament coming up on July 15th, so you can find more information at the Chamber's booth. It's a great opportunity to bring your associates, bring your friends, bring your colleagues, have a great day golfing, have a great buffet dinner, have great auctions as well. But the big thing I want to talk about is on May 10th, the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce has been assigned to be the host of the Massachusetts Small Business Administration. This is the entire state's program. It'll be happening right here thanks to the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce at the Andover Country Club. It'll be the annual awards program. What's that? I'm sorry. At the DoubleTree by Hilton in Andover. I'm sorry. Good catch. And that's all taking place on May 10th. So again, a great opportunity. Come out there, meet the state representatives. There'll be people from Washington as well. And it's not happening at the Andover. It's at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Andover.
Let me just say this. Michael nominated one of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce members to be the Small Business Person of the Year. That person was selected. Wow. And that person will go to the White House representing Massachusetts, all of you, Massachusetts small business, along with the other 49 state representatives. But if you're interested, if you're in finance, accounting, law, anything to do with small business, you may want to attend this event and consider being a supporter as well. But it's the statewide program for the Massachusetts Small Business District. It's part of the National Small Business Week.
And that's all I'm going to mention right now. If you want,
mention April 26th real quick too.
April 26th. Why don't you mention?
Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs. If you're into energy, the environment.
No, April 26th is our Whittier Tech program.
Whittier Tech program. That's on vocational jobs. I'm sorry, July 18th is the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs. You can see we have so many programs. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. With great women in business, luncheon series will be coming up again, and a whole host. And
these programs are being confirmed daily. As I mentioned, we have over 100 a year. All the information about the upcoming events can be found at our front desk check-in area for the expo. All can be found online. The last thing that I mention is that if you're not following us on social media, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can find our videos on YouTube. Thanks to Lawrence Community Television who's filming today. But make sure to follow us, make sure to comment, like, share, all that stuff. We definitely appreciate it if you can do that. And I want to say thank you to our breakfast speaker today, Jeff Morgenthaler, who's been a great partner of the Chamber. He has a great opportunity for you to learn some different techniques and opportunities for marketing, for connections, for all that stuff. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to Jeff. I'm going to turn it over to him. So thank you again.
Thank you. So Everybody's ready to learn how to use PowerPoint? That's why we're all here? Okay, just joking. So, thank you for being here. Can you stand up? Sure. This is my business partner, Dio. She's CEO of Dio's Accounting. We started working together, a year ago?
Yes.
She's got a whole new office, she's got a new website, she's got clients, she's got a new message, and she's killing it. She uses what you're going to go through today. So I just wanted to bring a live example that this stuff really works. Is that okay? All right, so this workshop, to give you context, again, Jeff Morgenthau, I'm a corporate sales trainer. Sandler Training is the name of the methodology. We've got 200 offices worldwide. They're franchises. Ours is out of Boston, Brockton, and Lawrence. We're in the top 5 in the world. So this stuff really works. I want you in, it's really a 2 90-minute workshop that sales reps and executive business people go through. We're going to do it how long?
An hour?
60 minutes. So I really want you to be clear on 3 takeaways from this session, okay? Now, it's not going to make sense right now, but it will be once you're done. But here they are. And we don't use a ton of tools. We go with, notes. End of the day, we call it HB to HB selling, human being to human being selling. So these are techniques that we want up here. We don't want you to have to go get a tool or go use something or go back to the office. We want you to be able to pull out a technique, use it successfully, because that's velocity and speed, right? That's your speed on your decision making. It's huge. Now, here's your takeaways. You're going to figure out what is your primary bird style of communicating. What is your primary bird? All right. 2, what is the primary bird of the prospect you're speaking with, or the client, or your teammate, or your coworker? What is their primary bird? Okay? Once you know that, then it's your job. It's your job to mirror and match what?
Your style.
Their style, their bird. That's your job. Now, the power of this is if you can't tell somebody what they have to do, right? That's authority. You've got to learn the new system, right? And what do you got to go do? Learn the new system, or you're going to have an HR situation, right? But how many times do you want to influence someone to do something on your idea, right? You want to get your idea, your prospect's head. You want to use influence, not authority. So how do you do that? Well, what goes on every day, it's going on right now, untrained people communicating, I'll use prospects mostly, right, for sales. Right now, they're doing 1 of 2 things with a human being. Going on right now. I'm either bonding with you in our communication, or I'm irritating you. And if I'm irritating you, is that positive? Are you going to tell me later I irritated you? No, but you're going to ghost me. And you're going to go, I don't really want to work with Jeff. He irritated me. So we want you bonding, not irritating. And as we go through this, I want you to think about your family and a couple key people in your family that are irritating you. That you would rather have bonding going on, right? And I'm going to fast forward on this. We've only got 60 minutes. I want you to practice this with friends and family coming up. I hold a practice session. What is it? Deals once a month at Burton's Restaurant in Orlando? Just kidding. I want you to practice it because you're going to see it work. It's called DISC. D-I-S-C. DISC communication methodology. And every human being in this room, each one of you, have 4 personalities or behavioral styles. Right? 1 is D. That's a dominant communicator. Dominant. I is an influencer communicator personality. S is a steady relator, and C is a cautious, compliant communicator. Every one of you have all four in you and how you communicate. But you only have one is your primary. And you might have a secondary. That's you. But you're not going to have all four. That's not who you are. All right? It's not. And so what we're going to go through is figure out what is a D, I, S, and C. We're going to relate it to the bird, because by using the bird kingdom, salespeople have told us it's more emotional, and this methodology sticks their whole career. I don't like to do a lot of data, because I'm not one of the birds we're going to go through. That's a data bird. I'm not, all right? But the data shows, on average, you can increase your productivity in your role by 25%. So we're not talking 5%, it's going to be cool, right? Not doing something outlandish. It's a real 25%, okay? So when I started using this, I realized in my sales career, I'm in my 40th year, just turned 85 last month. Got a young voice, so things are really positive. But when I started using this, I ended up winning 14 trips around the world as top salesperson. Because that's what corporate does. If you hit your numbers, you get to go to Costa Rica, I'll pay for it. So that's my currency for you to listen to me on birds, okay? My wife said this morning, Jeff, are you doing that bird shit show? Anyways, another story for another day. So let's do our first exercise. Now, I want you moving around. I don't want you sitting there, right? Either I want to excite you or I want to disturb you, right? I do not want to leave you in a state of neutrality. Okay? Either excite or disturb, all right? That's good. So, you got to figure this out yourself. We got 4 flip charts. I need, how many people we got in here? Like 32? Something like that? So I need 8 people at each flip chart, okay? So let's get up and go, pick a flip chart, because that's where we're going to do our first exercise. And it'll get your juices moving, your blood moving, right? So here's one here, here's another one over here. There's a pen.
Would you like to join our...
She knows where she's going. She's proud of it.
Okay, so you pick one person to write. Okay? And because we've got a huge group, we're just going to go with it. All right, so your exercise is give me 5 characteristics of this bird in the wild. The bird in the wild, okay? So you will have, we'll start here, you'll have the eagle. Yeah, you'll have the eagle. Okay?
Who's our artist?
You'll have the parrot. Your pen's right over there. You'll have the parrot. You got it? Parrot. You'll have the dove. And you'll have the owl. Go. 5 characteristics.
No, yeah, you don't. No, it's word, and you said 5 characteristics of your bird.
That's why.
Yeah, no, I just
Powerful, yeah.
It's 400, it's plugging into the wall.
Attacks with vengeance.
Flies high. Flies high. Immediately got loud.
That's loud.
And they almost never
Not serious.
on a fish. Almost 90+% of the time they come up with a fish. People
You say they're not serious?
They're not. They're screwing around. Goofy's probably a better way to word it.
unfailing.
Okay, you got plenty. That's a good group. Okay, so when you're done, pick a person who's going to speak, and the rest of you can go to your seats. Okay? But I want a speaker.
Yes. And they can reinvent themselves. They actually reinvent themselves because as they get older, their feathers become heavier and heavier, and their talons become longer and longer to the point that with luncheon, they will literally tear out feathers and scrape their fingernails down. And that's how they basically can reform, almost like a phoenix.
I'm thinking of that one
Hi, I'm Wayne. Maria, what do you do, Maria? You're what? Frenchman, which bank? Reading Cooperative. Excellent. A lot of bankers in the chamber.
Well, you are the author.
Okay.
Savings bank.
All right, you're good. Pick the speaker.
Sponsored
Take a
quite few
seat.
things. I'll be the speaker. I'll be the
All right. All right, grab a seat.
Don't hear me, even if they're hard of hearing. You're both on.
All right, so we'll just go. We'll go through each one, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. Go through, I mean, yeah, you got a lot there.
Yeah, we got inventive.
So you go last. Okay, so let's start.
Smart.
All right, you
So
ready?
you get a cup of coffee while this is going on.
What firm? I work for Steve Palm, I don't know real estate brokers.
Claudius is here. Let's give him a big hand. He's like, what's the bird?
Our bird is the owl.
Okay, everyone focus. Give me your attention. All right, go ahead.
The bird is the owl. So we wrote that it's a predator. As a researcher, nocturnal, solitary, dominant, focused, and decisive. So if it's hunting at night, it makes a decision, but it also sits and waits for its opportunity.
Outstanding. Those are all really good. So, how many owls are there? There's how many people in the United States, citizens? 330 million? There's 3 million owls. How often do you see an owl during the week? Right, because they're nocturnal. They come out. They're fierce. They're very process focused in how they hunt. That's the owl. Very good. Okay. Next, the dove.
The dove. The dove is calming, peaceful, a sign of love, aware. It is about new beginnings and relationship building, which is what we're all here for today.
Right. But we're not all doves in here.
We're not all doves.
But we all do want a relationship.
But that
That's
is
good.
what the dove is all about.
Yeah, the last dove I was talking to, I said I've had a lot of anxiety in my life lately, and she was very calming to me. She was very calm. So that's very good. They are. What's their color?
White and gray.
And gray, and they mate with who? Forever?
Oh, yeah.
Partner for life, yeah. Yeah. So that, now is that a contrast from that bird?
Yes.
Definitely. So let's go do this bird.
So our bird is the parrot.
Yes.
So the parrot is colorful, it mimics, it's loud, goofy, live long, it's engaging and playful.
Outstanding. Outstanding. That's the parrot, right? Any parrots in this room? Would you just see that? Start thinking about that. Any parrots in the room? All right. The eagle.
We're the eagle. And if everybody wants an idea of how large an eagle is, 6-foot wingspan. That's about 6 feet right here. All right. So when they fly high in the sky, you can still see them even though they're flying higher than most other birds. All right. Now, they're powerful and they're focused. So when they see a fish, they're so focused in on that fish, almost every single time they go for a fish, they come up with one. They don't lose focus, they don't lose direction, they aren't hindered by wind or anything else. They get what they're going for. They tend to be loners, they get together to mate. You don't usually see a flock of them like buzzards up in the sky. You see one. The females are larger than the males. And they also can be transformative. As they get older, their feathers become heavier and heavier, and their talons become so long it makes it difficult for them to fly. So instead of giving up and dying, which would happen to an eagle if it can't fly, it will literally rip out feathers, and it will break off their talons and transform itself so it can fly again and keep pushing forward. So even the eagle on the brink of death comes back. So whenever you think that you can't come back from whatever defeat you had, that client that you thought was gonna sign,
Give him a hand. We got 15 minutes. We're good. Okay, new spokesperson next time. That was outstanding. All right. So, get back up. Back to your sites. Movement. Energy. And you're gonna have a new spokesperson.
Another one.
Okay, so each, go your bird, right?
I know, right? I don't know what I'm gonna say.
And now I want you to take this owl, that's the bird characteristic, right? Now I want you to translate that to a business person. Translate that to a business person. So, for example, the owl. You said researcher, right? The term is C, cautious, compliant. So what does that look like in that business person? Think about yourselves, think about people you work with, but what does that look like? What does a dumb business person look like in your company, in your clients? What are their 5 characteristics of a business person that you've done? Okay? Parrot and eagle, right? Eagle. So what's that business person like that we would call, that's an eagle business person, okay? 5 characteristics.
we're running out of places to write stuff.
Yeah, that's the last time you'll use the sheet, so just put a circle.
Yeah? Transformative.
Someone's a party planner.
Yeah, definitely the party planner. Being able to see the jokester.
Business what's the 5
Easy communication. Communication.
Yeah. It might be, I don't think we would. Yeah. But
They're the practical jokers.
Is there anything else that we could cross on?
They said 5.
We could cross one out, change, what does everybody have?
I like transformative because in business you constantly have to reinvent yourself or you're...
Powerful and dominant.
If you're in sales, if you're in business development, you might also be a predator, right? Like in the sense that you got to go hunt for what the company eats, right?
So we're gonna,
If you said loner, you could also say that eagle likes to work, not necessarily in teams, but works best by him or herself.
You have to have a goal.
which one do we take out?
Oh, got it.
I mean, we can. I
just don't like when I get the bills there. I was like, oh, here's a bill.
I don't think eagles follow the route, so we can have 6.
That is true.
What do you think about unflappable? Because like, you know, you wouldn't take no for an answer.
How'd you do? We good?
You know, like, okay, they didn't want this, let's try
All right, let's pick up spokesperson, a new one.
Borrowing off your point, that might be fierce. Not so much that you would never make mistakes, but that you're constantly driving, right? You don't
All right, pick a spokesperson. Eagles, pick a spokesperson. Oh, yeah, you're good. Go ahead and grab who's going to be your speaker? Excellent, yeah.
I think I was holding the mic should speak.
There we go.
There we go.
Speaker.
All right, Theo, you got it? All right, do it together.
Did you say you were speaking? Okay. This time, everybody. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. That's a good. Yeah, 5 good ones.
Okay, ready? All right, your name, sir?
Hi, I'm Bill Kelly with the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center in Haverhill.
Outstanding, Bill. Bill, what's the business person you got?
So-
It's the Al business person.
An owl business person is persistent. They're also analytical, so they'll take that data, they'll make those connections. They have that database that they plow through to try and back up their, their work.
Yep.
We've translated nocturnal into work ethic. We were saying some of us work.
Talk to them.
We were saying that some of us work, most of us work many hours, or really all hours. So strong work ethic to get what needs to be done. We translated solitary into more process-driven, so maybe a little less collaborative, maybe not a team person, but more of a process person. I do my checklist and that helps me get through the day, makes those connections, strengthens my business because I have a process that I follow. Dominant, we translated into they're proactive, meaning they don't sit and wait for things to happen to them. They drive the situation, so they'll make those extra phone calls. They'll take that meeting. They'll meet you after hours. They'll go to your house to do the meeting so you're comfortable, not whether they're comfortable. Focus, we translated into patient, which matches, I think, very well with persistent. And decisive, you have to have a vision, you have to know where you're going, and figuring out how to get there, that's what you get paid the big bucks for. But you can't go anywhere if you don't really know where you want to get to.
Outstanding. Good team. Way to go. All about happening.
My name is Jack Donahue, and we have changed our dove into a customer or so they have a patient, easy communicator. We got compassionate, consistent, reliable, loyal, long-lasting relationships. It's a customer that you will definitely have for a long period of time, just because the way they like to mate with their with the doves.
Very good. He was hesitant at first to get up there. I'll review each one, but it's going really, really well. What bird do we have here?
We have a parrot.
What bird do you think is my primary?
Parrot.
Yes. There you go.
So turning the parent into a business person, we said they are the party planner, they are competent, they listen, they are engaging, and they are the influencer.
Outstanding, okay? That is the parrot business person. Is there a contrast so far on all three now? On the human being? There is, right? So what we espouse at Sandler is no theory. No theory. If you can't use this stuff, don't. Right? If you can't use a technique, don't. We don't want to have you doing theory trying to figure something out. This stuff should be able to work for you this afternoon, okay, after this session. Eagle.
Yes. I can relate to this because I am an eagle. Eagles, we are leaders, powerful, focused, driven, and excellent vision. When we focus on something, we don't take our eyes off of that. Doesn't matter what we need to do, if we need to work day and night to accomplish that goal. And I can relate to it, and I learned this because of Jeff.
I don't do true stories. If you can't tell the truth, right, you're out of the game. That's a given, right? So real story on Dios, that be okay?
Yep.
When we were talking together, we met at a chamber event. So thank you to the chamber team. That's where we met. And we were talking, and Dios says, I got a little bit of a challenge with some of these CEOs and these CPA firms, because they all want to hire her. She's brilliant, bilingual, degree, and she's an eagle, right? But she didn't know this. So we went through it, and she had this meeting with an eagle, and the techniques we're going to go through next, she did that with him, and he was blown away. He's like, what happened to you, Dios? Did you change? No, she was untrained. Now she's trained. And so real time, real story. So let's look at it this way. Okay, as we go through this, the end thing I want to get out of that is that you have one or two characteristics in your head. Because if you're meeting with a stranger prospect, Zoom or live, thank goodness I'm doing a lot more live now, okay? You meet a prospect, they're a stranger, right? They're a stranger. How much time do you have to figure out what bird they are?
36 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, you can figure it out. And as you work, now you have long-standing clients and relationships, you have more time to further understand how they communicate. It's the stranger that you want the clues and the characteristics up here, and then you can spot it. And then you want to shift your presentation or your discussion to mirror match them, right? And it takes energy. It takes energy to do it, but once you practice and do this, it will become second nature for you to start spotting this. And then as you fast forward, you got a big meeting coming up, you might want to say, okay, we're going to be meeting with Wayne later this afternoon, your team, your banking team, and you know, what bird do we think Wayne is before we go meeting? What bird do we think Wayne is?
Parrot.
He's parrot eagle. Yeah, he's a parrot. He's an outstanding parrot. So I'm not going to want to go in there with my owl stuff, right? If I go in there with a lot of spreadsheets, what am I going to do to Wayne?
Put him to sleep. Irritate.
Either you're going to bond or what? Irritate. It goes on. It's going on right now. There are salespeople irritating the heck out of people. They need to get a deal to hit their numbers. You know, it's crazy. Now, but this also works with your clients, and again, with your team, people you work with. It's all about, do you want to influence their thinking? Because to do that, everyone has head trash, right? And so your head trash is different than your head trash. But if you're a prospect and you're a stranger, what do I got to clear out of his brain? Just a little bit so I can get my idea in there. His head trash, right? So he's now thinking, hey Jeff, you're just like me. You're a dove. I'm not a dove. But what do? I mirror and match. I mirror and match. Okay. Are you up for one more exercise?
Sure.
Okay, good. You ready? What's IKEA known for?
Easy assembly.
I'm not going easy assembly. I had an issue a month ago. And you know what? I gave that table away. Because when I was done, and I'm a parent, I looked at it, and my son came and he goes, Dad, it's like leaning on this living. And then we couldn't even get the screw out to fix it. So I blew it. Okay, so get back up. Here's your exercise. Saturday, you're a bunch of doves coming over to your house, and you're going to all help her build a table and a couple chairs. That's what you're going to build. You got it from IKEA, but you want to have people over. So the owls, you're all going to go to your house, and you invite everyone over to help build the furniture with you, but you're owls, every one of you. You're a bunch of parents. You're going to your house, and you're gonna go build this furniture together. What does that look like? Well, yeah, there you go. All right, so get up to your booth. This one will go faster. And Eagles, how are you gonna put together your table and chairs?
If I recall, IKEA is all simple assembly. So I want a cordless screwdriver. You know? Because the bag is like, I don't know, 100 nuts and bolts.
We're all gonna fight about who's winning.
So look, let's, this is a pretty big project. Let's split the tasks, the 3 booklets, amongst us. We can all, because we're Eagles, take one piece of the furniture each. We don't need to collaborate, it's fine.
No collaboration.
You're right. We are going to take the chance.
We're being collaborative on a macro level.
Just thinking about how involved we are.
I've really enjoyed this.
Although he's a bit of an owl too. I'm more parrot.
If I'm still delegating, you two can pay for the furniture.
We're on it. Yeah. They can
We'll
build
pick it up.
it. We'll polish it and bring it home.
Right, so somebody has to separate all the parts when they're boxed.
That's correct. Organizer.
So you have to have somebody separate the boxes from the nuts, from the leather.
Pauline, you're in charge of organizing the...
Seal on top of the leg, that leg goes there, that leg goes there, so somebody has to organize where the parts go, and then everybody picks a side and starts putting it together.
Directions.
Upside down.
So everybody has their very specific. But half the night is.
Who's the bartender?
Self-serve.
Well, I would. I'm
All
self-serve.
right, well, who's the one that goes behind us all and double checks that we use the right hardware and we talked it down?
Quality control.
You know, we need quality. Who's in charge?
We need other birds here. Right? You better go raid another nest.
I'm gonna go raid the orca bees.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we're missing any parts, we can also raid other nests.
Yeah, exactly.
Without consequence, I mean, we're the Eagles.
How many eagles do we have in the group? I don't even know what I am.
Just getting it done.
All right, so go ahead and pick your third spokesperson, and then go back to your chairs.
You're crushing it. All right, I'll do
Last
one.
exercise.
There you go. You were delegating, so you're in charge.
And Duffin, you got someone else in the group to speak.
All right, who's our new speaker? You good? All right, let's start with, okay, is everybody having fun? We all having fun?
Yes.
All right, because
Good sign up first.
okay, so, bunch of Eagles over at your house putting together IKEA. What does that look like?
Yeah, so since we're all people playing the part of Eagles, we were all eager to delegate to one another certain aspects of the project at a macro level. We can share, but not in too close a proximity that it would be uncomfortable for other Eagles to share the same space on a micro level. So I don't think I'm no eagle in real life, but I think I delegated to 2 people to pay for the furniture, and then 2 people, including myself, to pick up the furniture, which I was very happy to do, and then others to inventory what we had in terms of nuts and bolts. You know, and if we were missing anything, because we're eagles, sometimes nefarious eagles, we might fly over to your nest and steal your parts if we're missing any. Then we had a couple people putting the furniture together, but in pods, right? So you take this part of the furniture, you take this part of the furniture, so you can be autodidactic and complete the work yourself. And then we can all bring the work together and complete it. So that's it.
Outstanding, outstanding. That's how we would do it, right? Owl business person. Are there any owls in the room? Are you thinking about that right now? Go ahead.
So if we're working together to build a table, we'll definitely follow the instructions.
Yes.
Step by step, and we'll do it in an organized manner. So each one would have their task, follow the instructions, would try to do full participation because we are all focused. We all want to get it done. We're driven by the end result, so we all want to get it done. We're going to follow the steps. We might have an issue a little bit with the dominant part of it, trying to be like, I can do it all. But I think the main focus will be the step by step with the full participation.
Outstanding. What does an owl do when and it's all done, and it's all done right, and there's an extra part?
Go crazy.
Go crazy. You go crazy. I asked this owl business person friend, because I live in Lawrence, the Riverwalk, and we were hosting a big football party, right? And the TV wasn't working, but we had a backup that was nice. And I made the mistake of saying, hey, Dave, it's not working. 3.5 hours later, he was still trying to work that, get it going, and missed the game. Missed the game. So, love it. Who's next? Who's up next?
All right. So the dove, we are going to build something that lasts, and our relationships are going to last. So we are going to read those directions nice and calmly and follow them. But we're also going to accept the outcome. We're going to work as a team, and we're going to have fun at it, a little bit laid back. We're not going to get stressed when we miss the pot at the end and we see that little bowl.
You're not going to?
No, we're going to have a nice glass of wine and say, job well done.
Still was different from each one, right? On building it. Okay, what's the last one?
All right, we're the pairing. So we're going to have a party.
Yes!
There's going to be drinks, there's going to be food, music, games. Some had the great idea to invite an eagle. So
love it.
Have the eagle to do all the work while we're having fun. We're going to take it out of the box, directions be damned. So if it's completed or not, it's not that big of a deal. It's really the party itself that's
outstanding. Outstanding. So now as we move forward, I want you to start thinking about, now, if you want to find out scientifically what's your primary bird as a human being, what's your secondary, it's, we don't sell it. You go right on to websites, you can look up this, and they're doing no charge assessments. And it's very accurate if you like. I had to go through it to work with Sandler. And I came out high parrot, then eagle. And on the chart, you might have something in the middle, right? I had almost 0 dove and 0 owl. It's so real, right? It's so real. Now my wife, Donna, is almost 100% Italian. She's 5'6", beautiful. And I've wondered why we've clashed so much. And then I ran this by my kids, Brett and Brooke, on this process, and they're using it. And they go, we came up with a new nickname for my wife, Big D. Because she is like an eagle, right? And now I get it. So I want you to think about your relationships. relationships too. The whole point is we need to use this. Now again, I've given you the power of doing it, but can someone recap, why do you want to go mirror and match? What's it going to do for you? Who would like to take a shot at that? So I know you get it. Why do you want to go do it? Why take the energy?
Connect.
Say again?
To connect.
To connect. How about this? Everyone, there's all these workshops about building trust, and I got to go there. And then these workshops go 2.5 days later, and you wonder, did you build trust or not, right? So it's about building trust with a human being with speed. With speed. See, that's the business thing, right? So if I can spot you're an owl, and I didn't know that, and I'm coming to do a presentation, right? I'm going to replace my PowerPoint with what?
Spreadsheets.
You got it. Data and charts. And that's the kind of strategy sessions we want you to have together. Because when you are mirror matching another person's personality, behavior, style, is that a positive thing to do with a human being, or is that a negative thing to do? It's good. It's really powerful. Now, as we go through this, we're going to go through how to do it, and we're going to bring it right to where we need to be for you to leave. But let's talk about decision making. Decision making. You're working with a lot of prospects and customers. You want to get these decisions in. Who makes a decision the fastest? The eagle makes a decision the fastest, okay? Who makes a decision second fastest? It's the parrot. Who makes it third? It's the owl. And who makes it fourth? Okay, so let's go over that real quick. Why is the eagle the fastest decision-making person? They want you to what? Net it out what you're talking about, and cut to the chase, and do the big picture. Confident that you can get this done, results, and get out of there, right? That's a winning meeting with an eagle business person, okay? The parrot, right? Second fastest decision maker, right? So what do they really want to do with you? They want to make a decision fast, and you set it on how you put the furniture together. They want to make a decision fast so that they can go do what with you? Party! Party, right? Yeah. I mean, corporate smart party, and that's another lecture I give on corporate smart versus corporate stupid. But that's another story for another day, right? So they want corporate smart, but they want to go. What's the newest restaurant that just opened up in Burlington, across from the mall? They're going to be joining MVCC, Smith & Wollensky's. Did you know that? And what's the newest steak restaurant open up at Tuscan? High-end steak. Thank you, Capital Grill, right? So that's what parrots, right? That's what they're thinking. Let's make a decision, it's the right one, but let's enjoy it. Let's have some social. Okay, we did the eagle, right? The dove. Well, let's go. Why are the owl the third slowest?
They got to analyze the data.
Yeah, they want to analyze the data. And so that's where you just lower your expectation and ramp up a little bit more data, right? And a lot of this is all about your energy, right? Because if you're untrained on this and you're speaking to an eagle, we can go over that little scenario. Well, I'll hit it right now. Do they try to intimidate people? Salespeople? Yes, they do, right? And if you're untrained, and remember, every 4 of these birds are super powerful in us, right? So none is more effective than the other. It's who we are, right? But if you're a dove business person and you're calling on an eagle, stranger, you're untrained on this, what happens when that eagle business person tries to intimidate you in the first 10 minutes of the meeting and it goes on? What happens to the dove business person untrained?
They give it on purpose.
They do. Well, it throws off their presentation or their message. And when they're leaving the meeting and they're heading home, where's their energy level? High, medium, or low? Low. It just got dinged. So now, right? So now this dove is trained on this like you are today. You'll be certified next 15 minutes. You're good to go. All right? So when that eagle, right, goes to intimidate the trained dove business person, what does the trained dove business person do in the first 10 minutes? They're gonna mirror and match that person and how they're in. So they might be, hey, Mary, and I'm a dove, but I'm gonna go, hey, Mary, can we just take a time out and have an adult discussion on this? Would that be okay? And what will then the eagle business person do?
Back down.
Back down. Back down. And then they end up being some of your best clients. All four will be your best clients. But that's what happens with that, right? And so you want to, now, if you're owl and you're untrained, right? And you got a big meeting with a parrot, and you're proud of being an owl, and you know all your stuff, and you know your data, and you know your numbers, and you got your process charts, and you go in there, how's that meeting going? Right. But you figure out, where can you figure out a person's bird on a tool that you all have right now on your laptops or phones? LinkedIn. Can you figure out a person's bird on LinkedIn before you go in?
Yes.
Yes, you can, without a doubt. Without a doubt. If they have a cube, a picture of their cube and a lot of children, what bird are they? The dove. If they've got a picture of a lot of different places around the world, parrot, right? If they got flow charts and things up on the wall. Owl, right? Do we miss the fourth one? Eagle will have what?
Themselves.
Say it loud.
Awards.
Awards. Yeah. I walked in on a big trucking company, and the guy was sitting there, and he stood up. I stood up, and I looked up in his office, corner office, clue, right? Pictures from, you know how you frame a story from the Boston Globe, your #1 fast mover company, right? A picture of him. I saw that. And then he was wearing cufflinks on a Thursday. I'm going, I got an eagle. And he goes, all right, Jeff, I don't know how you got the meeting. What do you got? And I said, I don't know if I can help you. I want to work with you. The way you started this meeting. He goes, all right. I hate salespeople. What do you got? You know? And then we had a really good meeting and ended up being a good client. So now you want to put this into action, right? So let's talk about it. Now, this is your personality of your birds. And I want you thinking about what bird you think you are as primary, right? Because in order to mirror and match, you've got to know yourself, right? Because then you can flex or mirror and match to their bird, and you'll have a really productive meeting. Doesn't mean you're going to win things, but you're going to have a productive meeting. Especially, we're doing a lot of this now with supervisors and managers on team building, right? And so they're now starting to do this, and the savvy supervisor figures out, I should be doing this back on my boss, you know? So they break through. They break through on it. Now, so how do we actually communicate as human beings? What am I doing right now? I'm using what? Words. So there's 3 ways we communicate. We use words, right? Okay. What's the second way? Body language. What's the third way? What's the third way?
Tone.
Okay, what's number 1 in how we communicate out of those 3?
Body language.
No. It's tone. It's 46% tone versus like 45 for body language. The lowest is what? Words. It's 7% is words. So that's why your words really count though, right? Because it's only 7%. It's super powerful. So when you go to meet with a Dove business person, what kind of words are you going to want to use?
Softer ones.
Yeah.
Calming and peaceful.
Exactly. So all you got to do is say, I'm a parrot. I'm going to mirror match because I believe you're Dove, and I'm going to go calming, team building words. And that will get the bonding going. So when you get the bonding going, what are you eliminating? You're irritating. So you eliminate the irritating on a human being. they're going to be more open to your ideas, your suggestions, and things you'd like them to do on your behalf with their company, right? Steering them, guiding them, not ordering. Okay, so what words with the eagle?
Powerful words.
Take it.
Powerful.
Yep. Two that work for me is to net out what you want to say to an eagle, right? And do a big picture of what it's going to do for that person. So do a big picture, net it out. Now, on the parrot, what kind of words? You want to be able to tell a story. Have you ever been with a person at a bar and they come up to you? We call them LGs, not being mean, but they're lonely guys, right? Say something. Say something, right? So they're lonely guys, and then they interject into your conversation you're having with your friend, which is a super valuable conversation because you haven't seen your friend in 3 weeks, right? You just want to have your
Bond.
comes in, and then he or she, it's LG, right? Lonely gal, and they start to try to tell a story. What's life like for listening to that? It's pretty bad, right? So you end up leaving early and you go to the next place and continue your conversation. So you want to be able to tell a story. Does everybody here have a cool story they can tell? About their business, about situations that they could relate to a parrot? Yeah, you do. You do. You just got to strategize now before you have the conversation. The owl. What kind of words on the owl?
Analytical.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. They love it. Right? Because they'll stop you and say, hey, can you stop, Jeff? You got any data backing that up? Oh, no, I don't. I'm going to have to go back to the office and get it. So what did you just do in terms of the sales process? You added on another meeting. Yeah, you added on another meeting. You didn't have to, okay? All right. Now, so we got the words, right? Did we hit all 4 words on the words?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because I'm a parrot, and that's why I had to write all this down. Okay, so now, who wants you to have a win-win relationship? What bird wants a win-loss? What bird wants a loss-loss? Eagle, what kind of relationship do they want?
Win-win. Win-lose.
Win-lose. They want you to lose. They win. So what do you want to make sure that they feel like?
They won.
They won, and then what happened to you?
You won.
You won.
You won.
They think you lost,
They think you lost.
but you won. You got to be thinking this way. So on the owl, win-win, win-lose, lose-lose. Win-lose. They want you to buy into how they look at the data and the process and how they think. So again, you work it so that they believe they won, all positive. You lost, but what really happened? You won. You won. Doug, win-win, lose-lose, win-lose. Win-win. Win-win. And the parrot is?
Win-win.
Win-win. Parrots win-win. Okay? So I want that in your mind as you go to what it is. It's really, the power of this is mini strategy sessions to get ready to have a communication with a very important person and you want to get some things done with. That you can't tell them to go do it. Right? That's the power of it. Especially in sales. Because when we're working with the sales teams, we want them to come up with what's the critical business problem that this prospect has. Not how we're going to solve it. What's the problem, right? And so when you are asking those questions and you're mimicking, you are mirror matching their bird, then you are bonding. They are really listening to you, and you got a higher probability of getting something of what you want to move forward, right? What you want to move forward. Now, someone give me the pitch or tone of the eagle.
Love.
Okay, louder, please. Bring it.
Loud.
Give her a hand. Loud. What is the pitch tone for a parrot? Loud. It's loud.
Loud and happy.
So what is the pitch and tone for a owl business person?
Well, dear God, you are.
We'll call it, it's neutral. It's neutral, right? It's neutral. So you're gonna go neutral. Huh. And then on the business person, their pitch and tone? Quiet. Yeah. Okay, so what two birds have the hardest time mirror matching each other?
Eagle and dove.
It's the eagle and dove. It's very good, very good, all right? So now, let's bring it all together, all right? So, you've got your cards, all right? The card says, they're very important, well, they're both important, but the back, for me, it's how to interact with the D style. So here it is, how to interact with the D style. So you take a quick look at this, right? Until you get it in your head, then you won't need this. And then you go, okay, this is how we're gonna go meet with Michael Belvacchia of MVCC, right? This is what we wanna get done. This is how we're gonna approach our conversation, whatever it is, all right? So it's got the characteristics and it's got how to approach the person. So this is your cheat sheet, all right? Okay, I'm going to free you up 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Go out there and mirror match, all right?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Just want to say thank you for joining us for our Merrimack Valley Chamber Expo Day. I just want to say thank you for joining us for the breakfast program this morning. The expo itself is running right next door downstairs from 10 to 3 p.m. So make sure to visit your fellow members, the exhibitors, check out the products and services on display and make some new connections. Again, it ends at 3 o'clock right downstairs, so make sure to check it out on your way out. The other thing I want to mention is at 3 p.m., right in the back of the room here, we will have our annual Expo Mixer. So stop by. It's free to register. You just let us know if you're attending. It's going to be a great opportunity to make some great connections, have some great food as well. And again, that's 3 to 5 p.m. So 4 great events in one day from the Merrimack Valley Chamber right here in Haverhill. But we have a great event right now, which Joe will be introducing in a minute. I first just want to go through and introduce our sponsors and say thank you to them. I want to thank our Expo title sponsor right in front of us here, Marquee Health Consulting Services, CW Rehab, and Aspen Hill Rehab. And we actually have a networking breakfast coming up in April at CW, so make sure to check that out on our calendar at merrimackvalleychamber.com. As I mentioned, we had a great breakfast program this morning. Now I want to introduce our lunch sponsors. We'll save the applause for the end. All Pro Electric, Brightview Health, Millennium Cleaning Services, and the Delicate Rose Med Spa. So thank you to all the lunch sponsors today. And then again, our mixer will take place between 3 and 5 p.m. this evening right in the back of the room here. And I want to thank our Expo mixer host, Thrive in Financial. So again, all these sponsors will be on display downstairs. Make sure to go check them out at the end of this luncheon program. And then a couple quick programs I want to mention coming up. Next week, we have another free opportunity. It'll be our based off the Masters, on a Masters mixer type thing at X Golf Methuen. It is completely free to register for. There's going to be free simulators you can try. There's going to be a lot of great prizes, a lot of great food. So that's next Thursday, April 11th. We also have a great technical school program. You can learn about what these tech schools are doing, how you can hire the students as well, or have them intern in your businesses. That's all taking place on April 26th. The presidents of Whittier Tech and Greater Lawrence Tech will be there. That is also taking place right here in Haverhill at Edwards Vacuum, which is at the Target Business Park, so make sure to check that out also. And then the last thing I want to mention is that July, I know we're going a little bit further, but we'll get to nicer weather. July 18th, we have the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs at the Merrimack Valley Chamber's annual Energy and Environmental Conference as well. So you can find out all these details, including our great golf tournament July 15th on merrimackvalleychamber.com. If you're not following us or tagging us or liking us or commenting on our photos on Facebook or Instagram, or the different social media channels, we definitely appreciate if you do that as well. But again, just want to thank everyone here today, our great panel, the secretary as well. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Joe. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to mention a couple of things. The energy program is going to be held at Schneider Electric. That is one of the nation's and the world's largest energy companies. So if you want to know what's happening in the world of energy, you want to be there at Schneider. That's where I first learned about not only solar, but battery storage. I learned that at Schneider, and they are part of an international conglomeration. Also, one of the things that we've heard from so many members is the need for tradespeople, for vocational jobs. So we went together and put our education workforce development program together. You know, as the former chairman of the State Workforce Investment Board and as the national chairman of the National Association of State Workforce Boards, I've learned the importance of vocational training. Our friends at All Pro Electric know that so much because of the need for tradespeople. So that program that Michael mentioned, April 26th, is going to be very, very important. But then another program that we're doing that I think you all should be involved with, the Merrimack Valley Chamber is, you know, the largest supporter of small business. We have received the SBA Massachusetts District Directors Award. We received the Massachusetts Family Business First Ever Issued Advocacy Award for our support of small business. On May 10th, the Secretary is going to be one of the featured speakers. On May 10th, the National Small Business Week Massachusetts District Award Program will be hosted by the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. And that is open to the public. It'll be held at Doubletree. It's going to be a tremendous program. Award winners and people from all over the state will be there. But this is what I'm interested about, Madam Secretary. We have the best, well, first of the best chamber, you know that. But we have the best membership of any organization. Michael nominated a company to be the Small Business Person of the Year. And that woman was selected as the Massachusetts Small Business Person of the Year. She will go to the White House representing Massachusetts along with the 49 other state leaders from their community. So again, you'll see the information coming out about the SBA Small Business Day program. That's in addition to the Chamber's own Small Business Day program, which will be, I think, on June 10th. But there's a host of other programs, and that doesn't include all the other programs that we'll be doing. But those are some of the highlights. The Fall Expo is already scheduled for September, I think it's 16th. There's a host of other things happening, and we want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I would like to introduce the chairman of our board. He is also the former mayor of the city of Lawrence, Michael Sullivan. Will give greetings to the chamber.
Thank you, Joe, and it's once again great to be here. So great driving down Merrimack Street, taking a left into the Phoenician and trying to find a place to park. That's a reflection on how great your Chamber of Commerce is here, the Merrimack Valley Chamber. I'm the chairperson of the board, and I say that because I'm proud to serve with 35 other volunteers that serve on the board of directors for this chamber. And if you are on the board and you're here, please raise your hand because we want to recognize you. Stephanie, thank you.
Nancy's here.
Nancy, thank you for serving. This board of directors meets sometimes 2-3 times a month, and we're excited about the programs. Thank you to the vendors at the Expo. I had a chance to meet a lot of you and some of the people that are somewhat new to this chamber, just encouraging them to stay involved in these activities. You will find your business will grow by the network. There's thousands of people involved in this chamber. That's why it's so exciting. If you're a business, old or new, just embrace it. And thank you so much. But once again, enjoy the Expo. There's a ton of stuff left to do today, and on behalf of the Chamber, thank you all for being here.
Thank you. And I just want to mention, Stephanie is a member of our board, Nancy is a member of our board. I want to mention something about Nancy Gardella, who's the North of Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau Director. We are doing the first time in 20 years a program called The Taste of the Merrimack Valley. It's October 7th. It'll be held at the Doubletree in Andover because we need a huge amount of space. But we are going to be adding, Madam Secretary, not only restaurants and function facilities and food vendors, but we're adding, because I met your new cultural director, we are going to be adding historical and cultural sites as part of that. So when you're eating, you'll also learn about the many opportunities here in the Merrimack Valley to take advantage of tourism, history, and
and culture. And that's the example of leadership of the Merrimack Valley. Never been done before, started first. And I want to recognize how companies continue to grow and expand. We want to recognize Bosa Coastal Italian Restaurant, which will be opening shortly. Just another example that despite the economy, everyone's moving forward. And that's the issue of competitiveness that our secretary talks about, and we're all following your lead. And I want to say thank you to the secretary, because having been involved with city government and state government for so long, it's so easy for a secretary to say, I can't come out, it's too far, I'm busy, come to my office if you want to talk to me. But every single time we ask her office to come, or we ask her to come, or we ask someone from the office to talk to us, the answer is always yes. Let me know when you want us, we'll be here. And I want to recognize another person that we've worked with so long, and Juan Vega is here. Juan, say hello to him. He's the Assistant Secretary for Communities and Programs. And we were just talking, we've been working together for over 20 years. And you have so many great people here, along with Mass Development, Mass Growth Capitalists here, as well as others. And it's a partnership. So if you have an opportunity to grow your business here in the Merrimack Valley, if you want to expand your business, if you want to locate your business, we're here to help. And I want to say one other thing. You know, just yesterday, we did a ribbon cutting with the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center. As you know, through Michael Sullivan's leadership, we provided the inspiration and the means of totally rehabbing a home in the city of Lawrence for the sergeant that was killed during the Afghanistan airport bombing. Her dream was always for the family to have a home. She wasn't able to fulfill that, obviously, but we were able to literally fund the complete total rehabilitation of that home. When we did that, Michael and I were at one of our chamber members having a cup of coffee, and the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center came to us and said, we need a van because we need a means of transporting the veterans for their medical appointments and other issues. We called MEVA. You see the new buses going around town, and we were able to get a van donated through them, and we helped with that. So that's an example of what we're doing to help in our veterans program. And then there's a whole host of other programs with our young people in business, women in business, nonprofits, HR, and the whole gambit. But let me tell you about the secretary, because she has a challenge. And we're on the New Hampshire border. I'm the former Economic Development Director of Haverhill. I can tell you, I hear this all the time about tax-free New Hampshire. It's less expensive to be in New Hampshire and all these other places. Let me tell you, Massachusetts is the best place to be. But the secretary said to each and every one of us, you got to say one thing. Massachusetts is competitive. Massachusetts can compete anywhere, and Massachusetts is where your business should be. Massachusetts is where you should be living. This is where you should be going to school, and if you go to school outside of the state, come back. And that's one reason why our vocational education program that we're doing is going to be held in a new industry in the city of Haverhill Industrial Park, because we want to show people that manufacturing is alive and well right here in Massachusetts, and the Merrimack Valley, of course, number one. So our secretary has given us that leadership goal, that statement, competitiveness, that we can be competitive with anyone, and that's what we're doing. That's why we do these trade shows, because we want people to see the types of programs and opportunities that you can have and that you can contact and you can work with one another. And that's why not only do we do one, we do a second one in the fall will be held in Andover. But Madam Secretary, we want to say thank you for coming down. We're going to hear from two other companies after you, but we want to say thank you because you're leading the charge along with the governor and the lieutenant governor. And as you remember, we had the lieutenant governor with the mayors and the managers, and she was saying the same thing. Massachusetts can be competitive if we work together. We all know there are challenges, but we're all here, as the chairman mentioned, we're all here. We are the largest, most awarded, most effective, I like to say simply the best, Chamber of Commerce, because we work together. And so if anyone, Julie will tell you, if anyone needs a connection, if anyone needs help, if anyone needs assistance, you have so many allies here in this network, it'll make your job so much better in terms of growing. So without further ado, please welcome the Secretary of Economic Development for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, our friend. Is that all right?
Wow. Thank you so much, Joe, and also Michael, and Mike, too, for all of your work. And anyone who's seen me knows that I talk a lot about Team Massachusetts, and we are so lucky to have Team Merrimack Valley. So we have an incredible crew here, so thank you all so much. And I love coming up here. You guys are amazing. So I asked my team to look it up, and I've been in the job for about a year, and I've made more than 12 visits. So I've come here like pretty much once a month, and I'll come up anytime you ask me to, because when I come up here, I see the energy you have, and you are all such an incredible reflection of what makes our state so great. You work together closely across the private sector, the public sector, big companies, big global companies, lots of small businesses, academia, and you work together to make this place, the best place for companies and for families and for people. So I love coming up here, and I remember this lunch last year, and I'm thrilled to be back here now a year later with a bunch of updates. So if you recall, when I was here a year ago, I was just brand new in the job, and I have spent my whole life in the private sector. So I've been on your side of the boat. I have been a CEO, a CFO, a COO, a board member, an investor, and I know how hard it is to run a business. You are scrambling all the time, trying to make sure your customers are happy, your employees are happy, your shareholders are happy, you're trying to make payroll, deal with all of the day-to-day crises. Our job in state government is not to make your life more difficult. Our job is to help you do all the right things for your business and to make your life easier. And so, Joe's saying that he's thanking me for responding, but I'm in public service. You are the part of the public that I serve. You are our customer. So our job is to make sure that you have what you need to be successful and to thrive and to grow here in our state. And so I'm so grateful to be in this role, and I'm so grateful to have amazing teammates like Juan and to work with our quasis like Mass Growth Capital and Mass Development. So a year ago when I got here at this lunch, I spoke about how one of the first things I learned about when I came in the role, I'm learning a lot of things in state government, but one of them was that in our state, we are required once every 4 years to do a state economic development plan. So it's kind of like a strategy for our state. And so I said to the governor, well, we kind of have to do it anyways. So we can kind of check the box and go through the motions, turn in our homework, or we can really do it. And of course, our governor is very competitive. She's like my height, which is short, and she was the captain of the Harvard basketball team. So she said, no, let's really do it. Let's do a great job and really figure out how are we going to help our state. So we took it seriously. We did 9 sessions across the state in every region, including here in Haverhill. I think many of you were at that session. We had 1,300 people show up to give us their ideas and their input and their feedback. And then we did one first ever Spanish language session that Juan hosted. And we did 11 sessions based on specific industries. So small business, tourism, rural economy, life sciences, climate tech, education, healthcare. And then we looked at lots and lots of data. So we published the plan, we made the deadline, and turned in the homework. If any of you is really bored, you can go look it up online. It's called Team Massachusetts. I wear my Team Massachusetts bracelet here. It's right by my Taylor Swift bracelets here. But I have my Team Massachusetts bracelet. It's called Team Massachusetts because as we did this plan and looked at all the data and talked to all these different folks, we realized that when we work together, we are unstoppable. We are the best team. And Merrimack Valley is a great example of that. But it's called Team Massachusetts, Leading Future Generations. Because when you look at our history, we've led for a long time. We started this country by throwing some tea in the water, and we led the revolution that became our country. And then we've led ever since then. First public library, first public school, first state to have universal health care, first state to have marriage equality, first state to roll out COVID vaccines. And we innovate. We've invented the computer, the internet, birth control pills. We invented basketball. So we have a history of doing this. And now is not the time to stop. So our plan lays out that this is a time for us to continue to make the right investments and the right choices to work together as a team to lead for many future generations. So the plan has 3 big chunks to it. The first part, which I think will resonate with all of you, is that we can talk all we want all day long about fancy economic growth and all these cool new things, but you can't really grow unless you have the fundamentals in place. So in fundamentals, and this is something that was a little bit unusual, we gave the pen to my colleagues in the cabinet because we can't grow our economy if we don't have housing, we don't have transportation, we don't have childcare. So we gave the pen, and the first couple chapters are led by Secretary Gustis in housing. How do we get more affordable housing across our state? Secretary Tibbetts-Nutt on transportation. How do we actually make sure that we're not stuck in traffic all day long and that we have public transportation that works? How do we figure out childcare and make it affordable for families to be able to go to work because they have childcare? And then the other part of fundamentals is all the work that Juan and his team do. How do we continue to invest in all of our 351 towns and cities? It's not sexy stuff all the time, but we need to put in sidewalks, put in lighting, invest in buildings, invest in infrastructure to help create the fundamental for economic development. So that's kind of the first big priority. The second big priority is around talent. And the talent piece of it is really around we in our state, our secret sauce, what makes us the best is our people. And we're so lucky. We have some of the best public schools in the country. So we have homegrown talent that grows up here. And every year, because of our colleges and universities, we have 500,000 people coming here from around the world who are amazingly wicked smart people. How do we just keep our talent here? So here in this section, we have a bunch of initiatives around helping our college graduates get internships to stay here. So last week, the governor, lieutenant governor, and Rep. Trahan were at Lowell talking about a big project there to help Lowell grads stay and move directly into the workforce. We have a bunch of initiatives around international talent. We have awesome people from around the world who want to become American. They want to stay in Massachusetts. How do we help them navigate the federal visa system? We have amazing talent of folks who don't want to go to college. That's great. We have so many different career opportunities to become green electricians, advanced manufacturing folks, biomanufacturing and life sciences, healthcare workers. How do we help those folks get into these paths where you can get certified without a college degree and start off at $30 an hour, 40, 50, 60, with a career path? So there's a whole section here around talent. And then the third part of the plan is all around sectors. How do we help each sector of our economy thrive? And this is very relevant for Merrimack Valley. So there's a couple of sectors where we already are leaders. And you all know in business, it's, Joe was saying, it's competitive. Because we lead, everyone's trying to catch up with us. So how do we make sure that we not just stay in place, but that we lengthen our leadership? So top of that is life sciences, and you all have been very successful in Merrimack Valley with pulling life sciences companies up here and having them build the operations here. So life sciences, advanced manufacturing, you have a ton of advanced manufacturing here. And we're so proud that so many of your companies here in the Merrimack Valley were a key part of us winning the big Chips and Science Award from President Biden, which brings a ton of federal funds here. And then also things like AI and robotics, all of our different businesses. How do we make sure we lengthen our lead? And then there's two sectors that we're not really leading in today, but we should. And so we want to catalyze new leadership in these two areas. They're very different areas, but one of them is climate tech. And again, you have some examples here now. Climate change is the existential crisis of our time, right? And you all have felt it. We've had flooding here. We've had all kinds of issues in Western Massachusetts. It's not going away. So we're going to lead as a state in terms of fighting climate change, but while we do that, how do we also create a ton of companies and startups and jobs and create economic growth out of climate tech? How do we become the global leader in climate tech? We have all these startups now in Cambridge and Somerville and in Boston. How do we help them expand their facilities to all parts of our state, including here in Merrimack Valley? And also as we think about offshore wind coming, from the shore in, how do we create the supply chain? So we want to lead in climate tech. The other area, and we were just yesterday with the governor on this, is tourism and the creative economy. We don't talk about this a lot, but we have so much to offer in our state. Joe talked about the history we have, but also we're coming up now on the 250th anniversary of the founding of America. There's a fancy word for it. I can't remember what it is. What do we know the word? It's like a very long word. It's not bicentennial. That would be too easy. It's like some other long word. It's 250th anniversary. But I was at a meeting with my counterparts, so the other economic development secretaries of other states, and I will tell you how annoying it is to hear Pennsylvania and Virginia talk about how the country was founded there, and they're leading the celebrations. Guys, that's ridiculous. We know it was founded here, and so we want to use the 250th celebration to tell our story and to invest in and grow our tourism industry and our creative economy so that it helps every region of our state. So we want to lead there. And then really important for all of our small businesses, we want to make our state easier for you. So right now, I was in the private sector for a long, long time. And there are many times in the private sector where I struggled with something. Oh gosh, how am I gonna, figure out how to pay for this, or we need help on this. Never once could I manage to navigate the complexities of the state, all the different forms and different websites, and they have to call a different number. We actually do a lot in our state, we just don't make it easy. And so the idea here is we're creating a business front door where you go to one place. If you're a small business, if you're a donut shop, if you're a farm, if you're a big company, if you're P&G, any type of business, you come to one place and we ask you literally 5 or 6 questions. It should take you no more than 10 minutes. What's the name of your company? Roughly how big are you? What kind of business are you in? Where are you located? And most important, what help do you need? What can we do to help you succeed in Massachusetts? Do you need people and workforce training? You need help with tax incentives? You're trying to find new land? You're having an issue with regulation or permitting? You tell us what your issue is, and then let us do all the hard work on the back end to find the right state resource to get back to you quickly with the right answer. So we're going to launch this business front door, and are really excited about that. So that was the plan we put together. So if you're bored, you can go and read all 66 pages, but that's a summary. We're very proud of the plan, but it's just pieces of paper. So what we really want to do is on March 1st, the governor filed an economic development bill, which is basically the plan translated into the specific funding and resources and legislation to bring this plan to life. So that bill is called the Mass Leads Act. It's now with our legislative friends. It's a $3.5 billion investment in our state. So that number sounds big, but, and I've had many people ask me, like, gosh, like, can we really afford this? Like, why do we need to do this? Like, aren't we okay? Like, we don't need to be spending money on this. I think a couple things. One is that I don't think we can afford not to do it. We're living in competitive times, especially you feel this here in Merrimack Valley. Everybody has choice. You have choice of where you personally live, and you have choice of where you move your companies. And if we want to make sure that the best people and the best companies stay in our state, we have to continue to invest. And we can absolutely afford this. So the $3.5 billion is over many years. We have a $750 billion GDP. That's the size of our economy, $750 billion. So $3.5 billion spread over many years. This is a small number, and it's bonds. So this is borrowing that we can afford at very low interest rates because our state is very well run. And these investments are investments. They're not expenses that we're spending and flushing down the toilet. You all know from running a business, when you make an investment, you expect a return. So these investments are, things that we're going to invest in where we're going to see jobs created and companies created, and we're going to see all of that benefit throughout the next many, many years. So we have to make these investments. And so the one ask I would have of all of you is, please help us, and if you talk to your legislators, make sure they understand how important it is to support all of our businesses and all of our economic growth across the state and to get this bill passed. So I'm really excited about partnering with all of you and with our legislators, and once we get this passed, we're going to continue to make these investments and continue to lead in all of the right ways. And I will tell you, one thing that's really kind of stuck with me over the last year or so is I think we are living in really interesting times. And a year ago when I was here, we had one world war happening in Russia and Ukraine. That war is still happening and heartbreaking. But then we have now a second world war happening in the Middle East. We have a Cold War with China that's getting worse, where my parents are originally from. We have the climate getting warmer than it's ever been. We have economic volatility, and we have an election year in our own country. And I look at DC and I don't know, it's really hard to figure out if we're going to get the leadership we need from our federal government. And I look at other states, and Joe is right. Other states are trying to compete. I think that other states are competing in a way that we don't think is the right way. So some states are saying, hey, we're super low taxes, we're really cheap, we have lots of cheap land, we're open for business. Those are some of the same states that don't look like this. They don't support immigration. They don't let women choose what to do with their bodies. They don't believe in science or climate change. They're trying to change textbooks to say that slavery was good for black people. They want to ban books. They don't believe in gun safety. Like, that is not, I'm a business person and I love low taxes too. That's not where I want to raise my kids. So I think there's a better way to lead, and that's what we're doing here in Massachusetts and in Merrimack Valley. We're leading by being an awesome economy for big companies, for small businesses, for everybody of every type of background. And we're being a place where we look like this room, where we know each other, we care about each other, we celebrate freedoms, and we want people to be able to live their best lives. Now, we're not perfect by any means. We got work to do, but I can't imagine a better team to do this work on. And I'm so proud and so grateful for the Merrimack Valley, for all the work you all do every day, and so glad that you're on Team Massachusetts. So very excited to do this work together with you. And I don't know, Joe, I'm happy to take questions.
We'll do questions at the end.
Okay, great. So then, thank you so much, and I will pass it off back to our incredible Merrimack Valley leader here.
I just want to mention one thing. When you mentioned climate, what many of you don't know is the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce actually has a clean energy program, and we received, this is amazing to me too, we received from the United States EPA the Environmental Merit Award. Was presented to us at Faneuil Hall a couple of years ago, but the Chamber's involved in all these issues, all these initiatives, because we know it makes a difference for you. And as the Secretary mentioned, together, we address all the issues. So sitting in the room today is Mass Development, Mass Growth Capital, Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, Juan's office. There's so many different offices. I apologize if I miss anyone. There are so many different agencies. MOBD, the Mass Small Business Development Center is here. And obviously the Secretary herself. There's so much help available. Take advantage of it to grow your business here in the Merrimack Valley. So we want to show you that the Merrimack Valley Chamber supports both large companies, internationally known companies, as well as small companies and startups. So our next speaker, Shayla Jenkins, is the Andover Site Human Resources Director at Procter & Gamble, company you may have known and heard about. But they've grown and they're expanding in the town of Andover, and we want to hear more about it. And please give her, this is her first time with us, so give her a great round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to apologize. They don't usually let me out here public speaking. So I want to first start off by introducing myself. My name is Shayla Jenkins. I'm the Human Resources Director for the Andover P&G Gillette facility. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Secretary Howe and her team. Her team was instrumental in supporting the expansion here in Andover. That's expanding job opportunities in Merrimack Valley County. I also want to thank the Merrimack Valley, I'm sorry, I told you I was going to be nervous. The Chamber of Commerce for inviting us to be here today. I truly appreciate this opportunity. I just want to give a little bit of background about Gillette here in Massachusetts. Gillette has a long-standing history in Boston, first starting off in 1904, and we've also been in Andover since 1969. So we have a long relationship with this state as well as this county, and we look forward to expanding. Our Andover plant plays a vital role in producing P&G Gillette shave preps. Most recently, we've expanded to making Olay bar soap. So if you see that on the shelf, please grab that. Also, we have materials, process, and development on site, as well as recently, we shared exciting plans for the future. If you don't know, if you didn't hear, last fall we announced our decision to relocate Gillette manufacturing here from South Boston to our expansive 150-acre facility in Andover. The move signifies a commitment to building a 21st century production facility here in our backyard. We are focused on sustainability, agility, as well as community partnerships. Giving back to the community is ingrained in our core values, as well as a principle that resonates deeply with our employees. Throughout this journey, we will prioritize developing key capabilities such as digital infrastructure, sustainability, and the employee experience. We will also look to partner with local organizations to help continue developing pipelines to help fill some of our roles. Also, these investments will ensure that we maintain a competitive and long-lasting relationship here in our great state. In closing, I want to express my deepest appreciation once again to Secretary Howe for her support and the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce for inviting us here today. Together, we can create a thriving and prosperous community. We are excited about the future and positive impact we will have on our employees, our consumers, and the local economy. It was great to spend time with you today.
Thank you. I just want to mention, and I tell you this all the time, you're not a number to us. You're really part of a family, and Stephanie, you know that as a member of our board. Nancy, you know it. Obviously, the chairman knows it. And everyone is different, but yet they all are part of the integral fabric of the Merrimack Valley. Mike Harrington's a member of our board of directors. They all know this. That's why we're so good. We're the best, but let me tell you about another company. Rick Freiberg is the Chief Strategy Officer and Principal at Tech the Engineering Corporation. They are the engineering firm that works with a number of major economic development projects. He can tell you what's happening around the community, what's it like to be a developer, what are they facing, and some of the things that are happening. So it's important to know that these projects simply just don't happen overnight. They happen through a great deal of great positive planning, and the end result is a positive for all of us. So Rick, come on up.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rick Freiberg from TEC, and like Joe mentioned, our firm does civil engineering design and consulting. So we work with places like the Commonwealth of Massachusetts through Mass DOT, or municipalities, cities and towns to design their roadway, sidewalks, traffic infrastructure, bridges, stuff like that. So from an industry perspective, our outlook is great. We have a lot of infrastructure work to do, as Secretary Howe alluded to. There's a lot of work to be done in the infrastructure to help support economic development, and those are the kind of projects that we work on. What I was hoping to use this time, though, was to talk something maybe we can all relate more about, which is the challenges that we face, I think, moving forward in our business. Because I think even though our industry might have different outlooks and the things opportunities that we have ahead of us, our challenges are probably more similar to each other. And so for us, really, that is around the war for talent, which I think probably we can all relate to as small business owners. So I'll just quickly share what our experience has been for that fight for talent. And quickly describe the market that we're in, and then talk about some of the things that we've done proactively to try to reverse that trend, and maybe plant some ideas if you guys are having troubles with the same issues that we are. So if you go back in time, I want to go before COVID, so say like 6 or 7 years ago probably. We were a firm that was sort of stagnant in growth. We're resting around 30 to 35 employees. We're really struggling with retention, and we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Inflation was sort of, I think, beginning to creep up a little bit. Salary demands from new hires were starting to creep up a little bit. And we had an easy time hiring entry-level employees, but a difficult time retaining them for more than 2 or 3 years. We would train them up, and then they would leave to go to another competitor of ours. And so we started to do the hard work and dig in and realize what we had to do to kind of attract and retain our talent. And then COVID happened. And we went into survival mode like everybody else did, and tried to do what we do to keep the lights on and that kind of thing. But coming out of COVID, and I think COVID in many ways kind of forced a lot of this change on us, was that we really doubled down on our investment in our teams and our employees. And we stopped throwing our hands up in the air and saying, millennials, what are you going to do? They leave their job every couple of years. I think we need to accept that that's not a great answer, and that we can do better than that. So we started taking a hard look at it, and we invested in ourselves, and we invested in our teams. We invested in technology, so that gave us the ability to be more flexible with our work team. 6 or 7 years ago, we were 40 hours a week, everybody all hands on deck in the office. And today it's probably about 60 to 70% of the time in the office, and the other 30 or 40% at home, which lets people be more flexible with daycare arrangements, the doctor's meetings, the doctor's appointments, or childcare, staying home with a sick child, things that come up out of the blue, which has been a major help. It lets them access their design tools from home, so that they can have that ability to work more flexibly. We're also understanding that people that graduate from college today have much higher student debt than even my generation had, and which is a major challenge. And so we doubled down. We put in place a student loan reimbursement program, and actually we implemented that about 4 years ago, and we doubled it this past year to do $200 a month for every employee to help pay for their student loans directly. We make those checks out directly to their lenders, which is a proactive approach about it. These are all things that we try to do to stem the tide of turnover. We also know that fewer and fewer students are going to school for civil engineering these days, which is sad. The joke around the office is we're losing our nerds. They're all going to big tech or data. We want our mathletes back. So we're trying to get back in front of any high school who will let us in there to talk about STEM initiatives and why I should be interested in civil engineering. It's important. We have a lot of infrastructure work to do, and we need the workforce to do it. And so that's another big issue. We've also invested in our office space. If we expect people to come to work, we want it to be a bright, light, engaging environment that they're happy to come to, where they get a sense that they're part of a community. We think in many ways the dynamic has shifted over the past few decades, where the power structures that used to be, the offer of a job, for example, was very strong for my father, right? The offer of employment, and you never left your job once you had it. Today, that dynamic is different. In many ways, the applicants are hiring their employers, and you have to make yourself attractive to them. And you have to advocate for yourself to make that case. It's not as simple as saying, we have a position available, here's the salary, here's what we expect of you, let us know what you think. you got to do better than that if you want to attract talent. And I think, a combination of doing all these things, putting these things in place has really helped us curb that turnover issue that we had. We went from that firm of, like I said, 30 or 40 people to now 75 people doing civil engineering work, helping them build the communities that we all live and work in. We have difficult macroeconomic challenges ahead. I think, rising interest rates are a challenge for the development community. Increasing regulation is a challenge for the development community. But the greater opportunity that's out there for that is so large. It's important that we figure these things out together. But we can't do it if we don't have the workforce to accomplish it. And so that's what we've kind of focused our time on. And so if I just leave with any kind of parting advice, it's just that if you're struggling with these challenges like we had with job retention, risking companies going to other places, New Hampshire, we're not going to let that happen. Massachusetts, our office is headquartered in Lawrence, which is one of the most challenged communities in Massachusetts. And we're making it work there. We're hiring good civil engineering jobs there. Like I said, we're up to 75 people now. We have 3 offices. All of them are hiring. So if you're proactive about these things, if you're proactive about trying to find ways to make your employees stay, advocate for your company, do the hard work, do the change. It's expensive, but the cost of turnover is expensive too. The burnout rate on managers who are constantly retraining staff because they leave is a hidden cost in a lot of the turnover discussion that we don't talk about. We all know about the training and recruiting costs and things like that, but the burnout on the managers is a major thing too. By building a stronger team that sticks together longer, we build a better team. It might cost a little more money up front to do that, to put those benefits in place. But at the end, you end up with a team that can help deliver. And in our case, the type of work that we do, work with our partners in government to build these wonderful communities that we try to build and make it more livable and better for all of us.
Rick, tell us, before you hang up, tell us about how many square feet of commercial space have you been involved with, and how many residential units? About just your firm, so you get a sense of who you are.
Oh boy.
I know you don't know.
So commercial space, it's probably like 10 million or so square feet of commercial space, and that's probably just off the top of my head, probably in the last like 10 years or so. And in terms of number of housing units, it's got to be probably 5,000 or 6,000 apartment units. So and we're behind. As the Secretary knows, we're behind on that stuff.
Yep.
And so from our worldview, there's a lot more work to do there. That's why we feel good about the future. But if we don't all work to sustain our teams and develop that workforce and stay competitive and make sure that our people stay here, stay with us, we're not going to be able to deliver on these great opportunities. So
thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to recognize John McCarthy from Minco Corporation. Minco is one of the Chamber's former chairman of the board, but he's also one of the major real estate developers in the region, doing both commercial and primarily now apartments and residential, and a leading developer. Give John a round of applause. So we have time for some questions or comments. Anyone have any questions or comments for the secretary or any one of the panelists, or even for the chairman of the board? If you want to ask him how great is the chamber, you can ask him that. But anyone have any questions or comments? Mike, you're in economic development projects throughout the state. Mike Harrington.
So Rick, the question I have for you is, you're right in on the ground when the projects are starting and happening. What's your outlook going forward as far as future projects coming online?
This doesn't stretch any further, so if you want to use this. This is the cable, so if you want to use that.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, I think. So it does project a little. It's difficult to project. One thing that's holding it back, I'd say, is high interest rates. If you're a developer trying to secure financing and develop your capital stack to get your project off the ground, that's a tricky thing to do, but we're fortunate that we are in a state that does so much to help those things happen. I know Secretary Howe knows this, but there's a number of programs that are available that help these developers fill the capital stack, and particularly in gateway cities. I mentioned our business is located in Lawrence, but we do a lot of work in Haverhill. We do a lot of work in Lowell, so we're very familiar with how development works in gateway cities, where it can be the most difficult place to develop a project because bankers expect more from a developer in gateway cities because it costs the same to build a new building pretty much anywhere that you do it in Massachusetts, but your return, your rent, is less in a gateway city. So financially speaking, those are more challenged projects, but fortunately we're fortunate to be in a state where they help out. And these things can be solved, but you have to reach out, you have to advocate for yourself, you have to explain, you have to do the hard work to explain why it's an important project, but we're lucky to live in a place where they listen. So the challenges ahead, I'd say, I'm not concerned about the funding and grant opportunities. The state's done a wonderful job with that. I'd say on the larger level, it's interest rates. However, it's being combated by such a strong need to drive more housing and drive new development projects that these things are getting figured out. these developments are getting figured out. There are developers who are shelving projects and waiting for interest rates, but not here, not that I've seen. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions before we say thank you? Oh, yes,
Again.
Wayne.
Seeing how you're our expert on commercial real estate. Office buildings. I've been in enough of them in the last few months to know that there's a big problem with office buildings. You walk into some gorgeous buildings and they're empty. And the older buildings are ghost towns. The convertibility of these buildings, because some of them are in prime locations. I understand that the older office buildings are easier to convert to residential because their windows actually open. What about these large, beautiful buildings that aren't as easy to convert to residential? What is the options for those buildings?
Yeah, so I mean, I can just speak. We have a project in Littleton, Massachusetts, for example. It was formerly an IBM headquarters on 495. And two gigantic office buildings. I think combined they make up something like 500,000 square feet of office space. And we have no expectation that we're going to attract a commercial tenant to fill that 500,000 square foot with a single user. Those days just seem like they're gone. And so we've looked at what are the adaptive reuse issues that are presented there and who our prospective tenants are. And what we find is that for those kind of buildings, they're older buildings, they're very deep, the dimensions don't work for residential because the building is something like 300 feet by 300 foot square. So you could be 150 feet away from a window if you think of it like that. That we're finding that there's light manufacturing opportunities, R&D opportunities, robotics technology opportunities that exist in those buildings. And those buildings, generally speaking, have great utilities. They usually have a lot of power because they once, like in the case of our project, IBM, they once housed massive server farms, so the power that exists there is wonderful. And so you got to find what are the users that works for. And so we're hunting down anybody who will talk to us looking for R&D type space, robotics type space, new tech. Those are, I think, for the bigger old buildings. We're designing new buildings though, I'll just tell you. If our new buildings involve a commercial component, we're designing them so that they can be retrofitted later for residential. And we're doing the same thing, believe it or not, with many parking garages that we design. So that if the future shifts away from vehicles or autonomous vehicles and things like that down the line 30, 40 years from now, that these garages could actually be infilled with residential units because people are always going to need a place to live. They just might not need their car to live there anymore. And we're trying to prevent the problem that we have now with these aging buildings from happening again in the future. So buildings that are of the right depth, we'll figure out a way to retrofit them. Some of the buildings are too big and those need to be adapted for uses that the market demands today. But for new buildings moving forward, we're trying to design them up front to be convertible and adaptable to different uses more easily later on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, one last question or comment. If not, we want to say thank you again, first of all, to the secretary. And again, and it's so easy for her to say, I'm tied up, come to Boston. But she is always here with us, and the people that work with her are always available to the chamber. And that's what makes our job so easy, the fact we can contact all the quasi-publics, contact the people in our office, MOBD, Mass Small Business Development Centers, all the ones, in terms of financing agencies and so on. We want to say thank you to this panelist because we wanted to showcase two examples. We never really have brought before you a large company like this. We have a number of major international companies in the chamber, but we've never brought them forward to be a speaker at one of our programs. We wanted you to hear about a company like Procter & Gamble because we're very proud of the fact they're here in Andover now. They're going to grow, they're going to expand, and their products are used worldwide and manufactured right here in the Merrimack Valley. And then tech. Heard from Rick, Rick is a growing company. His offices, if you go in his offices, you'd swear you're in Washington, D.C. or New York. They're absolutely spectacular. They're adjacent to the football stadium that Sal Napoli built. You have no idea where you are. But yet, struggling to make sure that they can have more and more people work for them as they grow their business because we're dependent upon them to do excellent application. And then the chairman of our board, Mike Sullivan, is actually, despite the fact he was mayor of the city of Lawrence, led a great program when he was mayor, but the fact he's also a small business owner, and he is throughout the region as well. So we represent all of you, and you are so important to us. This was a great program. The Expo is sold out, as you know, but try to visit it, and then think about some of the other upcoming programs. And then, as Michael mentioned, at 3 o'clock, There's a complimentary networking mixer at the end of the show here. It'll be right up here. And there's a whole host of programs. I won't go through them again. We want to say thank you to all of you for coming. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you, Madam Secretary. You're always welcome. Thank you all. Have a great day.